Bonjour, mes amis. Comment ça va? Oh, je m'excuse. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm here to read you an extra special story called Just Say Please, and it's from the Happily Ever After Stories, Tales of True Love and Friendship book. Have you heard this one before? You haven't? Oh, I think you're going to love it. Are you ready? All right. One rainy day in the Beast Library, Chip and I were playing a game called Treasure Hunt. Each clue led to another, and the last one led to a treat. Oh, doesn't that sound lovely? I picked up the first card and read it. Take a look in the big red book. There's a big red book on the table, Chip said excitedly. Drops of water splashed around us. The roof on Beast's castle was so full of leaks that it seemed to be raining inside. Oh la la, oh dear. I dodged the drops of water and pulled the card from inside the red book. It says, let's have a race to a warm, snug place. I wonder where that could be in the castle. It must be near the fireplace, said Chip. I removed a card that was tacked under a picture over the mantel. The clue says, under the rug is a great big, I read. A great big what? Said Chip. That's what it says, I said. If you find the last clue, you'll get the answer. Chip bounced around the room until he found a card under the rug. It says, hug, I said. That's your treat. Then I gave him a big hug. Isn't that a nice treat? It is, isn't it? Treasure hunt is lots of fun, Chip said happily. You know, if Beast played this game once in a while, I bet he wouldn't be so grumpy all the time. Why don't you ask him to play? I asked. All right, Chip agreed. Just then, we heard the whistle of a kettle. Mama's making tea, Chip said. I'll go and see if she's made tea cakes too. I had settled down to read. My book had fallen under the cushion. As I pulled it out, I felt something else. It was a piece of string with 2 keys. I wonder what those keys are for. I'll ask the Beast later. I put the keys in my pocket and began to read. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Mrs. Potts the teapot was trying to make some cakes. But water was dripping everywhere. Oh dear, that has to be very difficult. These leaks are awful, she told Lumiere, the candelabrum. I've been begging the Beast for weeks to repair the roof, he replied. Suddenly, Chip rushed in. Mama, Mama, he called. Hello, dear, Mrs. Potts said. You know it isn't polite to interrupt. And if you do, you should say, excuse me. I think Chip felt a little embarrassed. What do you think? So remember, if you're going to interrupt, always say excuse me. Excuse me, Chip said. May I have a tea cake? What? Asked Mrs. Potts. May I have a tea cake, please? Of course, dear, his mother said. Thank you, replied Chip. It's always good to say please, isn't it, friends? Just then, the Beast burst into the room. He grabbed 3 cakes without even saying please or thank you. Oh dear, well that will not do. That's not very nice. I need tools to repair the roof, he said grumpily as he gobbled the cakes up. But I can't find the keys to the tool shed. I'll look for them, master, said Lumiere. He scuffed off in the search for the keys. Would you like to play treasure hunt? With Belle and me sometime? Chip asked the beast shyly. It's a fun game that Belle invented. Not now. I need to find those keys, the beast said impatiently. He took 3 more cakes and stomped off. I think Chip is right. The beast can be rather grumpy most days. A little while later, Chip brought a cake to me. Thank you, I said. That was very sweet of you. Belle, it's all right that the beast isn't polite because he owns the castle, asked Chip. Everyone should try to be polite, I answered, but it's easy to forget. Chip and I decided to try to be extra thoughtful so that the beast would notice and be polite himself. Don't you think that's a wonderful idea? Oh, excellent! That night, Chip helped his mother serve dinner. Would you like some more potatoes, Belle? He asked. Yes, please, I replied. Merci. Thank you. Excuse me while I bring in more gravy, said Chip. I'm proud of Chip for being so polite, I told the beast. But the beast didn't seem to be listening. He was too busy wolfing down his food. Drip, drop, the ceiling began to leak again. These confounded leaks must be fixed, shouted the beast. Clogsworth! Lumiere! He bellowed. I need you in the dining room now! Oh dear. The mantel clock and the candelabrum came running in. Have you seen the keys to the tool shed yet? The beast demanded. 2 small keys on a piece of string? They told him they hadn't. I remembered the 2 keys in my pocket. I knew the beast wanted them, but I also thought he could be a little nicer to everyone. All of a sudden, I had an idea. I whispered my plan to Chip. He grinned and nodded. Then I stood up. Excusez-moi, I said, but Chip and I want everyone to join us in the ballroom in a few minutes for a special treasure hunt. Not now, growled the beast. It will be worth it, I assured the beast. I promise. Can you figure out what I've planned? Once everyone had gathered in the ballroom, I explained the game. On each card, there's a clue to help you find the next card. Each clue ends with a missing rhyming word. The beast tapped his foot impatiently. I'll read the first one, I said, pulling the card from my pocket. It says, to see your face is why you use me. To interrupt you say, excusez-moi, said Chip. Good, Chip, exclaimed Mrs. Potts. You use a mirror to see your face. I think the next clue is behind the frame. Mrs. Potts took down the card and read, a knight in armor clinks and clanks. When someone's nice, you say, merci, Clogsworth and Lumiere shouted at the same time. That's thanks. This is a waste of time, the beast protested. He started to stomp out of the room, but I put my hand on his arm. Wait a minute, I said. Please? The beast hesitated, then nodded. Clogsworth took a card from the suit of armor by the door. Lumiere read, missing keys are found with ease. If you remember to say, what should we say? Everyone else's eyes were on the beast. Now he understood the treasure hunt was Belle's way of helping him to be polite. He stood, shuffling his feet. Finally, he smiled. Please? He asked me. I smiled back and held out the keys. The beast took them and turned to leave the room, but then he turned back. I almost forgot, he said. Merci beaucoup, Belle. Thank you, Belle. You're welcome, Derrière, I replied happily, winking at Chip. The next day, the beast repaired the leaky roof. Clogsworth and Lumiere helped him. All day, the beast remembered to be polite. He said please and thank you constantly. By late afternoon, all the leaks were repaired. What a relief, Mrs. Poss exclaimed when the beast had finished. Merci for mending the roof, Clogsworth said to the beast. Oui, merci, Lumiere added. De rien, you're welcome, the beast replied with a grin. Now, wasn't that a wonderful story, my friends? Always remember to say please and thank you. And don't forget to stay safe and have fun. Au revoir, mes amis.